Hey there, no matter what happens in our lives, voting is our opportunity to be heard. We'll be talking about that on Monday Mastery Moments. See you on the flip side. Hey there, Michelle O'Neill here of Monday Mastery Moments with Michelle, and I am thrilled to be talking about today's topic. Now, I know you've been watching the news, and actually all the way to November this year, we will be hearing so much about voting and our opportunity to have a say in what goes on in our lives. And voting isn't just what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the fact that when we have something that is important to us, we must use our voice. We must talk about the things that are important to us. And this is our opportunity, especially with Super Tuesday going on just recently, and people standing in lines forever and ever. You see, as women, we were given the opportunity to vote back in almost 100 years ago in 1920. So it's so important. It was rectified in 1920. Let me clarify that. But it was actually passed in Congress in 1919. But in 1920, it was actually rectified so that women were able to vote. And this is so important. And one of the things that really stood out was when one of the newscasters was talking this week to a bunch of college students that were standing in line. They had been in line for over 2 hours. They asked, "How long have you been in line?" And they said 2 hours. And she asked, "How long would you stay here? How long would you wait?" And the young lady turned to her and said, "As long as it takes." That's the attitude that we need to have about voting. That's the attitude that we need to have about the things that are important for us or important to us. And I'm not just talking about voting. I'm talking about using your voice when there's something you need to speak out about, when there's something that you can make a change about. So just this week, a young lady was on Facebook. I was looking at Facebook. Unfortunately, I get stuck on there sometimes, but there was a young lady talking about just recently her child had been abused by his daycare provider, by the person who was watching over them. And she did turn them into the people that she needed to turn them into. And they looked at the case, and even with the bruises that this young child had and other things that they had to solidify that this had in fact happened, well, unfortunately, that case was said unfounded. So now the law says this is unfounded. She truly believes that this happened to her child. So this lady decided to speak out about it. Now, of course, she couldn't name the daycare provider because then she set herself up for legal suits and stuff like that. But she wanted people to know where this happened and the fact that because of this, she wanted other parents to know, to beware, to make sure that you are looking over your child when they come home, that you are making sure that there are no additional bruising on them, that you are listening to what they're saying to you. She spoke out. She decided, even though the case was said to be unfounded or they didn't move forward on that case because of what happened to her child, she wanted other people to know, at least be in tune to what's going on with your child. At least look for signs, because you don't know what's happening when you're at work or when you're not with your child. So she took that time to speak out about that and make sure other people were aware of the things that could happen to their children. That's what I mean about using your voice. Your voice not only affects you and your family, but it can make a difference in someone else's family. It can make a difference in someone else's life. So in this case, silence could have been deadly. Silence could have meant that there was harm to her child. So it's so important not only for you, but for others to hear what you have to say. You do have a say. You do have a choice. And that's what using our voice is all about. What I like to say is, if you don't speak out, if there is something happening and you don't like it or you get angry about it, if you don't speak out, if you don't do anything about it, then you have no reason to complain. The same thing about voting. If you don't like those who are in an authority, if you don't like what's going on in our politics, and you say, and I ask you, did you vote? And you say no, then we have nothing to talk about. You haven't done anything to possibly change that situation. You haven't done anything to help rectify that situation. So in that case, there's no conversation that can be had because you haven't done all you can do. You haven't used your voice. You haven't used your vote. You haven't stood up for something that was important to you. And that's why we have this privilege of voting. That's why we have this privilege of speaking out. These are the things that we have been given rights. It is our duty to use that right to have a voice and a say in the things that happen to us. Please don't let that go by the wayside. And then the other thing is, your speaking out makes a difference in the world. It has a ripple effect. One voice bands together with another voice and another voice. So it has the ripple effect. Someone seeing that you spoke out about something and they believe the same thing now has the courage to stand up and speak about that too. Now that they know that you have stood up, they're willing to join you. So it has a ripple effect. You are allowing others to speak up about the same thing. If there's something that you feel so strongly about, something that is so important to you, go about it the right way and use your voice. Look, I hope this has given you the courage to speak out about the things that bother you, the things that matter to you, the things that are important to you, to go and do the things, to be the change, to help start the change, to be a part of the change, whether you're the initiator that starts it going, or you're part of the process and you join in. It's so important that we vote. It's so important that you use your voice. I'm not talking about what political side you are. I'm talking about the freedom of choice. I'm talking about making a difference. So I wonder if you feel strongly about something in your life. Do you wonder if maybe I don't feel that strongly about things? Or are you wondering, what in my life do I feel that strongly about? Well, I know there's something, and I'm willing to get together with you and talk about it. If you're ready, I would love to chat further. I would love to sit down and talk with you, whether it's on the phone or whatever, but I will place the link below where we can talk about what really fires you up. What are the things you want to change? What are the things you want to make a difference in? And how can you go about that? Last of all, did you vote? I hope so. I hope you used your voice. In the meantime, please stay tuned each Monday for Monday Mastery Moments, where we'll get together and talk about the things that matter. Talk about the things that no one else wants to talk about. And coming up soon, this summer, we have a spring-summer session of the Mastering Your Monday Masterclass to really hone in on the things that you want to get the lifestyle that you desire. I am so excited. I am just talking all over myself. So with that said, I hope to see you next Monday as we get together and chat on Monday Mastery Moments with Mischelle. Take care.